Hi everybody, Russ and my Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. News channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware of any time we put new content on. Today's guest, whatever time you're watching it, is on everything. he's on all the YouTubers, so it's only a matter of time before he graced us with his presence. It's Marshy, Nick Marsh. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Yeah, I appreciate you having me. I know it's been we've tried to sort it a while, haven't we? So
good things come to those that wait, mate.
Exactly.
No pressure.
No.
We don't. Go on, you're going to say?
No. We don't need the pressure, do we? All light-hearted stuff.
It is all light-hearted. It is very good. How are you in sort of this weird world we live in at the moment now?
Yeah. To be honest, mate, not too bad. Obviously doing the job, the lift engineer I am. So basically, I've been at it sort of on site at work all the time. Taking irrelevant precautions and set up with the correct PPE and stuff. So just had to go about it, the way that we normally do, just to get the stuff done. So but obviously beside that, it's very difficult. I've got a little boy who lives a way away from me. So I went sort of 15 weeks without seeing him. Unfortunately, we made a sort of decision, if you like.
Yeah.
And obviously seeing him again now, so that's great.
Good.
Sort of miss him all the time, which is rubbish. But it sort of is what it is at the current point. And just like you say, trying to take the positives out of what is a negative sort of situation.
Yeah, it is, and I think you're right. I think there is a lot of positives as well, because I think it means that I think people appreciate a lot of things they took for granted. Like going to the pub, or going out for a meal, or going to the football. And I know people during lockdown, the proper lockdown, we'll call it. Well, hopefully not. We have that again, but you never know. That's what people are missing the most. Like they were saying, going to West Ham's is like a chore, but it's a chore I want to do again. You know what I mean? I think people appreciated it more.
It's one, isn't it? It's one you really miss when we're sort of signed off like this, isn't it? Really, it's not, as much as they wind us up and sort of piss us off and all the rest of it. Especially more so at home than probably away, because the pressure's not really on you, is it? Away from home, and it's not too pressurised to perform, and sort of when we do, it's an added bonus. But it's been nice to sort of see the games all the same, isn't it? At least we're getting to see some.
Exactly, and at least you get to watch it probably a better view than you would do at London Stadium from your seat, because you got a TV. Yeah. It's a TV, and it's a bizarre thing. I know it's weird. Are you a crowd noise on or off type guy?
I must admit I do a bit of both, to be honest with you. A bit of experimental sort of stuff, but I do quite like the involvement of the crowd, and some are done a bit better job than others. The grounds that we're seeing and the games that are on at the time, they sort of do a little bit different, don't they? So I actually think West Ham, London Stadium wise, I think we've actually done a pretty good job.
Do you know what? I think they have, and from experience. Obviously I haven't been to any other grounds, but obviously I talked to the journalists there and stuff like that, and they do say that actually the London Stadium is one of the easiest grounds to get through in terms of the whole COVID procedure. It's really, it literally takes like 20-30 seconds to get through if there's no queue, obviously, but it's I think actually they've done a good job. I think London Stadium have done a good job in terms of how it's all very easy.
All looks laid out really well as well.
It's
all laid out well, and we know what's going on, and sort of what to expect and stuff.
Yeah, it is. And the only thing that makes me laugh though is the lift. So the lift that goes up to our top floor, which is where our stuff is, it's like you've got to be 2 meters apart, obviously. And the lift, it's like it's got 2 feet, and the feet are facing like the wall.
Obviously, I've seen a lot of it. Obviously, it can be. A lot of them do have that. Obviously, now some you find obviously are not quite on that level, if you like. But we experience it. But you find that people just a lot of them have the signs up. One person at a time and all the rest of it. But people just and sort of willingly doing their own thing. And I think what with the government side of it, I think it's not really a clear picture, is it? So I think it's more or less giving people an opportunity just to sort of, hopefully be the safest that they can. But then, at the same time, just getting on with what they need to do.
Exactly. It was funny. The last game, so the Wolves game, I was waiting in the lift, and like I had Who was? I think it was Glenn Hoddle, and I don't know the other guy. It wasn't Clive Tills. It could have been Clive Tills. I don't know who it was, to be honest. And they were sitting. They walked in, and they both stood to the lift. It was really sweet. And I was like, "God, do you want to get in?" No, you can have it. You've already done it. Bless you. Yeah, I'll take the next one. Bless you. But they went straight like that. It was really, really sweet. But it is weird, and I it's like when I watch the away games, I'm the same as you. I toggle because I like to listen to some swearing, like 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it is. And to see who shouts the most and stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
Well, it was funny when like the cup game, when like I tell you, hadn't realised that Davy Moyes wasn't the touchline because he looked like, because Alan Irvine looks almost exactly the same to Davy Moyes. And it's only when the camera got in, I went,
"That's not Moyes."
Text down the floor manager. Where the fuck's Moyes? Check your Twitter.
He's that, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, makes sense.
It's all going off.
Yeah, no, it's funny. But, it's not nice. I mean, no one's around at the moment. It's horrible. It's really quiet. So quiet. I always jump on the Hammers Chat or West Ham Fan TV. Always the watch-alongs. I just think they're brilliant.
Yeah,
just sitting there, just have something in the background. Do you know what I mean?
All good lads as well, like you said.
They're cracking.
Everyone taking their time out to do your channels and to, as I say, it's nice to be asked on and doing a few bits. Like you say, I've done a few with some other guys, and obviously, I'm close to the West Ham TV boys. They give me that opportunity. So I stay tight to them, but I'm, as I say, willing to have a chat with everyone.
So basically, Nick's trying to pimp himself out to Irons United, Hammers Chat, John, JP. West Ham Way, all of them.
Just wait to be asked. You don't ever want to be a sort of burden, if you like, and putting yourself on people. It's nice to, and as I say, I watch along everyone's stuff. Yours included. I watched your one actually with the woman from Philadelphia, the American Hammers. That was from Philly. That was brilliant. I've been in conversation with her a couple of times on the channels.
It's all about putting the names to faces, isn't it? As well, because you're very vocal on Twitter. You put Phazomania came on. Yes, I put his one on it today, and he's like on Twitter quite a lot. And he was just saying it's nice to sort of see these videos and sort of see these people's hear their stories and stuff rather than hide behind 140 characters. So it's sort of giving everyone a bit of exactly. So that's really nice. But I love the watch. I love going on the watch alongs and telling them what's happening, because they're like at least 2 minutes behind, because they're all probably watching it on a dodgy feed. Plus they've got the internet. Like, oh, goal. And like Charlie goes, oh, fuck off, Russ.
I must admit, I was doing that. What game was I watching? The last home game, wasn't it? I think the Wolves game.
Yeah,
and I was watching it, and I think I logged on to Twitter, which generally speaking I try not to do, because I like to be one of them to just watch the game and then, do you know what I mean? Assess it at the breaks, half time, a bad injury, or obviously full time after. And I've gone on there, and I'm sitting there, my old man saying, "Oh, we've scored, Dad, we've scored," and obviously we're still 0-0. We've literally just gone through, and scored the first goal. But that's a bit of a nightmare. But I mean, it makes it all the everyone's on the same wavelength in the end, don't they? So it's a good thing, It
is funny. I always put like goal, and I won't say who scored. And Charlie or Tom or someone or Anton or no one, oh, fuck off, Russ. Yeah, he's giving it away, but I don't know who it's. So it's for, and it's at least a minute ahead of everything. So I just like taking the piss because it's quite funny. But I know what you mean. It's like. Actually, I think is it the Irons United guys? They actually pause it so they're all on the same time.
Oh, okay.
So when they're doing their watch, which is quite nice. At least they're
that's
because
they're right on the same.
Because otherwise there's such a delay.
It makes it very hard as well.
It is, and also if you're watching like some people are watching it on Ultra HD, or some people are watching it on HD and Standard, and it's all different time frame. You forget how long
I think it's all the sort of website links as well, isn't it? Obviously, like West Ham are doing a link, for the BT passes, season ticket holders or whatever. That seemed to die a sort of small death, if you like. A bit like everything else with us at the minute. All right, a couple of good results, but we won't get too carried away with it.
Don't worry, Nick, it's a comeback, Nick. Don't worry, man. We're going to turn over Tottenham. It's typical West Ham, right? It's typical West Ham.
Anything.
We always hit form just before an international break, always
Up
we
to Christmas as well, isn't
up to and also like towards the end of the season. So literally after restart, we had this apart from the first game, we pretty much played decent for the rest of that time. Apart from the Tottenham game, the first half was a bit dodgy, but everything else was a good game.
Yeah.
And then typically everyone fucks off for 6 weeks, comes back. Obviously, we have a shit game against Newcastle, same as if we did against Wolves after restart. Then we play really good. And then that's it. We're off. We've got 2 weeks off watching
we just
England.
sense to, especially from the Project Restart for the end of last season, we seem to, had not been playing very well leading up to that and whatever, and, trying to put a few performances and results together. And then we get to the Project Restart and we're like a reformed team.
Well, it is. I mean, but also that Southampton game, the game before, just before it was like the first game, and it was really good. And I mean, Haller and Antonio were playing as a 2, and it was like, this is it. And then that's it. No, fuck off. No sport.
All the rest of it gone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the West Ham way. Exactly. Let's say it's nice to be getting it to. I actually thought, to be honest, I'd miss it a lot more than I do.
I think a lot of people have felt the same.
It's sort of like, obviously, I mentioned on my sort of Twitter today that I miss the away games. I'd give anything to be in one of the away boozers, halfway up the country, maybe a bit further, and sort of knowing people and having that sort of that congregation of all West Ham supporters in a concourse, and obviously in the away section as well. So it's sort of people saying, when do you reckon we'll be back? And I can't see it this season, to be honest.
No, I don't think away will be this season. Definitely, that's for sure. I think we'll see what happens after Christmas, innit? With all the colds and weather and the flus and
it's
gonna be all that crap going about. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But I think you're right. It's not necessarily about the football. As you said, people have said, it doesn't matter. It's the whole
day,
going to the pub. Yeah, it's meeting up with people, and it's just the rituals. And I was talking to someone the other day.
I think I've said to others, to be fair, I think a win is a bonus. It's like
it's
the whole day. Start early and, like I say, trying to get in a pub and a few beers and get the sort of real feel for it, and then getting in the ground. If we get a result, it's you don't necessarily want to rush home, a few beers, making a full day and night of it, and what it's all about. But
it is one day, and then at least, as you said, we'll appreciate it even more, won't you? It's like that first when all the pubs opened, when everyone went to the pub, and it's that first proper poured pint, not out of a can or a bottle. It's like, do you know what? I've missed this. I think I actually had my first pint was like on a Sunday at a little cricket club. I live in Hornchurch, and there's Hymes Park. There's like Highland Park. It's this cricket club. It's literally, the bar is probably about 1 metre wide, and it's like a pint of Foster's, and it was just like the most amazing thing I've ever tasted in the world. And it was just
appreciate it even more. Yeah,
you really do, man. You really do. Or a good kebab as well. So when all the kebab shops were shut, I was just livid. As people
delightful.
know, I love a Friday kebab. Right. Anyway. 13 minutes in, not too bad. First question.
Yes, man.
Why are you a West Ham fan, Nick? What's your story?
I think, as I say, I've maybe just like many others, just been passed down generations, from the area, come across. It's always been in my heart. It wasn't going to be any other way. My granddad, my dad's dad was West Ham. My dad obviously is massive West Ham, and obviously just followed suit, me and my brother, and we're as I say, I'm fortunate enough to follow West Ham home and away most weeks. So you sort of miss it a bit more, as we just said, in this sort of environment and set up. But listen, just took it down through generations, and passing it on to my little one now, and looking forward to taking him to a game one day and seeing if he's going to be sort of following suit.
There's no seeing. It's like
it's nurturing. You're in. Yeah. Want of a better word. Yeah. So hopefully that'll be good times to come. But literally just passed down to sort of family, really.
Yeah. Do you remember your first game?
I do vaguely. I think we was. I want to say it was 95 or 96. Newcastle at home. We won 2-0. I don't remember who got the first, but Danny Williamson got one.
Was that a night game?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, we won 2-0, and just loved it from then on. Season ticket in the Bobby Moore lower. 20 plus years. Fortunate enough to meet a lot of nice people. Still continue to go with people that we used to.
Brilliant.
You know, all sitting together sort of in the East Upper now. You know, we've decided to sort of be in the Upper now. It's not a bad view. It's not too terrible, but you know, it's not the greatest. But we deal with what we got in front of us. Don't
together,
we?
yeah.
You know,
sure.
so yeah, that's the idea. You know, you sort of miss them people, don't you? And like you say, you take for granted what you normally have every other week, and so yeah, it's nice to. Yeah, it is nice to.
I think that I've got a feeling that Newcastle game, and I know as soon as I say this, Kent Irons is going to be sending something like, "No, it wasn't. He'll Kent Irons will tell me exactly what happened." But I've got a feeling that Newcastle game, there was a massive rainstorm right before kickoff. Someone will quote if it is or not, but I remember this. I think it was Newcastle that game. It might have been another season.
Yeah,
before
I know it was definitely Newcastle. Yeah,
but yeah, there was a massive rainstorm just before the game, and it was like. I'm sure it was that game, but I'm sure someone will quote. It was definitely Newcastle, but it could have been a few seasons ago.
Yeah, I want to say it was definitely 95 or 96 because I started going roughly around that time, like, you know.
Yeah.
Or the Redknapp era for me.
That's the thing, you picked a great era to start with, you know, because like that was going into that Redknapp era, that's 7 years of Redknapp, and
I think the 97 season, you know, I think when we you know, we won the Intertoto Cup, you know, finishing fifth, and you know, or 99 even, but I mean 97 was just great stuff, like, you know, the Sinclairs, the Canios, you know, Canutes.
Do you know what it's like we've I'd have posted. So obviously we interviewed Mr. Ruddock today, and this will be posted up. So yours will be the day after Neil's anyway. Yeah. And going through, he picked his team. Fucking hell, it is a mentally good team because he was only there for two seasons, but it was that he was in the POM, you know, that sort of 5th and 7th Intertoto UEFA Cup,
around that.
And it was like some of the players, fucking hell. And it was like, and it was my era. It was like I was proper, because I think I started about 92. And so, you know, I was proper into it then. Season tickets and all that lot. And, you know, it was just like amazing, that sort of era. So much fun.
I think where was it? I think I got to the back end of Tony Cottee and Morley as the strike partnership.
Yeah, it would have been,
it was sort of, I vaguely remember back end of that, but obviously certainly going forward from that. You know, a lot of good stuff going into the old, you know, East End Working Man's Club, sitting on them stairs, looking into the ground, you know, playing a bit of pool and having a pint of Coke, you know, with your old man. Can't wait to get over there. And, you know, they were, blinding times,
It is, and it's all about that sort of, as you said, the build up, and as you go into the Working Man's Club, having the pint, you know, walking down Green Street, smelling what the fuck meat people are putting those burgers.
People are buying, and
it was just all of that, innit? It's just those smells, and it was like the other day.
Yeah, it's just like remembering the times of like I used to play football like on a Sunday at the time. And then training on a Saturday morning. So then my old man would pick me up, and then a good mate of ours would pick us up, and then go to the game. And just the whole aspect of it, like, you know, was just like you say, never wait to get over there. And
it's that sort of. I always remember because when I used to play football, I used to play rugby on a Sunday, and you had that ache. I call it the Sunday ache. So after you've played the game, you get back and you sit on the sofa, and everything just aches.
Muscles are killing.
Yeah, but you're like, oh, it's always on a Sunday, just before Sunday roast. And then someone mentioned something today, and it was about, and you know, obviously I used to drive there because I lived in Loughton at the time, and my granddad used to drive us there, and you go down Barking Road and around the back streets parking, and people would put out their bollards and their bins.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Couldn't park.
Stop your parking there. Yeah.
And I was thinking, some guy mentioned it today, and it was like, oh my God, I remember that. And I remember like my granddad trying to, you know, shunt this wheelie bin forward half a yard. So the poor fucker had this much space. He had like put a bike in there. Yeah, exactly.
That was always a thing, though, wasn't it? I mean, all the sort of roads, you know, surrounding the ground and everything, sort of come out, you know, Priory Road for the Bobby Moore. And, you know, sort of coming out, walking left as if you're going back down towards, you know, the market and the central, and then sort of like the roads over on the right there. I think in the end, they started turning to permit holders even, didn't they? I think they sort of screwed their loaf there, didn't they? And
they did. I used to be on people coming out, and people would like, you know, really, people like, you know, 5 to 3, they haven't got a car park space. And they literally sort of kick some bollards out. You can't do that. You can't put your bollards out. It's brilliant.
Quickly
great days.
Parking, running over. Yeah, I must admit, I've done that on very minimal occasions. I I can't do the late thing, like, you know. I mean, if it's
No.
something that's holding you back, you know, traffic and whatnot, then, or generally running late. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's not something that even away games now, you know. Obviously, I'll go with Dom. You know, it's sort of well known, and we're very close mates, and obviously Baz and Errol and the like as well. You know, like we've always sort of gone, you know, met each other together, and you know, enjoyed the experiences. Errol actually came up with a picture of me and him tonight at Swansea away one year, within the last few years, and that was, you know, just going back sort of memories and things like that. And it's just obviously missed the days, and like everyone, you know, wish we could be back there. And you know, but where we play now is, you know, nothing much we can do, is there? You make your choice, and
definitely.
It sort of is what it is.
And for your, I mean, for your boy as well, it's going to be, you know, it's like my daughter, she's 8, and she knows West Ham play at the London Stadium. You know, obviously, I made sure that when I think she's probably at 3 or 2 or 3, you know, I took full advantage of my security pass and took, like, you know, during one off day, I got her into the ground just so she'd been there, although she don't.
Yeah, of course,
But for her, it'll be like West Ham play at the London Stadium. That's what they do.
Yeah,
and same as your boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, of course.
It's weird when you think about it, but it's horrible to think about. But it's, you know, it is for the next generation, really. Like 99 years, you know. And nowadays, fucking hell, you couldn't. Could you imagine doing fucking social distancing at the bowling? It's like, fucking hell, get like 10 people in.
That's the best thing about it, wasn't it? Being so tight together and close to the pitch, and you know, I mean, loads of mates who sort of obviously, you know, away supporters coming into that, you know, tight, you know, old centenary, you know, before the Trevor Brookins sort of changeover and whatever, and it'd be, you know, quite dingy, dark, you know. Everyone close together, you know, quite a cauldron that we used to make it, and you know, just a shame now that, you know, things have moved on, and you know, we all have our views and opinions, don't we, on that?
Yeah, and I don't think it's just. I always, you know, I always sort of backstop it with, I just think it's the modern day as well. I think, you know, you look at a lot of these big stadiums now that you lose that intimacy. You know, you don't get many teams like a Sheffield United, like in Bramall, like literally their ground is a shithole in the middle of an estate. It literally is, like, you know, 4 rows of houses and it's there. You don't get that anymore now. And I think because of that, even like Wembley, you know, Wembley, I hate Wembley because I just think you lose. It's, you know, get into, when you're in Wembley, it's great in the stadium, but that walk along the thing, there's nothing there, you know, and it's like, it's the same as London Stadium. There's, you know, that walk, there's nothing
just a
there.
plain walk, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's just, and there's nothing to do, and it's, you know, where the grounds are in the actual town, like Sheffield United. Obviously, you're walking around. There's hustle and bustle. There's cafes and burger vans, and
close together,
And so it is a bit sad like that, but I just think it's just indicative of modern football, really. I think there's a lot of things that we moan about as fans. It's like, well, I think it's like general thing, you know, like, oh, you know, West Ham fans, and it's like, you know, after Mark Noble goes, you know, but no other club's got a Mark Noble. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like,
no, listen, they're not unheard of now, aren't they? Them sort of players, and you know, the loyalty. There ain't no loyalty in football, as we know. It's
there's not.
You know, Noble's a totally different aspect, and you know, we need to look after him once he stops.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it's just, I just, you know, it's a lot of things. I just think, you know, and actually doing this channel, there's a lot of things I've missed, which I didn't think before I did the channel, that I start talking to people like yourselves, and they're sort of reliving memories, and like a lot of the stuff that I took for granted when I was watching football, particularly sort of the late 90s, maybe. I really miss the, like, characters. You know, there's no characters in the game now. It's so professional, you know, and no disrespect to people in the early, but it's just so sterile now. You have to be anyone with a hint of personality.
It's all spot on, isn't it? Yeah, it's all a bit. Yeah.
So someone like Grealish, for example, right? Yeah, he's a cocky bastard, right? But you look at, like, what Joe Cole was doing, you know, when he was in his pom, he was doing the repeat, but you know, because his head's a parapet, everyone calls him a tosser. You know what I mean?
You expect that from them sort of characters, don't you? That's what, like I say, football needs that, like, you know.
They do, man.
We'd love it when we play for, you know, we love it when we play for us, obviously, but you know, like you say with Grealish, they play for other teams. It's sort of like, oh, you know, we could really do with a player like that, and you know, sort of open it up, you know, the game, and but no, he's shit, and all the rest of it. And it's
It's so true.
that is interesting, all that side of it, definitely.
It's so true. It's like when you interview, I've interviewed like Monks, Mad Dog, Bish, like Razor, even Trev, even Sinks and stuff. Yeah, these guys were like, they were going out, and you watch the Razor. I was like, fucking hell. Some of the stories he tells, it's like, you can't really say that. But anyway, he did. And same with Trev, he was saying, where we finished that season, when we finished 5th, maybe if we didn't go out on a Tuesday night every week, we might have won the league, or we might have gone to the Champions League.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
so it was though, isn't it? Like, but them players, we feel fortunate. Like I say, I wasn't nurtured into supporting West Ham for the success element. Haven't not winning a domestic trophy for over 40 years. Like, that's always what I've, that's what I long for. Like, as long as hoping that even me and my little one can see us win something together. Like, it'd be nice to have that option, wouldn't it? So that'll be good. But the old boys. I will look forward to that, Razor. It's a pleasure. Following Razor on your channel. To be honest, it's good.
And he's got a new book coming out. Got better plug that. But no, it's but it's true. It was like and even like when I talked to Bish, and they would go. They have a Tuesday club. They'd go down the toll gate, and then they'd go out afterwards up London. Harry wouldn't put training on a Wednesday because you knew they were all going out. And actually,
a bit laid back.
Yeah, but they said, you know what? It means we didn't have to. We knew a Tuesday we could have a drink, so we didn't sneak out on a Wednesday night or a Thursday night or a Friday night because we knew that Tuesday was a night out. And it's like, do you know what? That makes perfect sense.
At the end of the day, mate, if we're winning games as well,
and that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's a treat, isn't it? If you like.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, in '98 they had the Christmas party in Romford, and Razor got arrested for the Christmas party for throwing a bottle at I think it was a police car, which he didn't do. Which he did not do, and he was found not guilty. And he sort of implied who did it, but he wasn't a gross, and so he. But to say, if the team weren't performing and that came out in the press, then everyone would go, fucking hell,
different
ball game, you can imagine like. Got to, say last season with Roberto, and say we were playing really shit, which we were, and then they were all, I don't know, in Magaluf the next day or whatever. They'd be like, it's just
kicking off,
carnage, absolute carnage. But bless them. But it's it's. I think it's personalities like that, and I feel sorry for my daughter and your boy and stuff like that. You don't. Footballers now are so like. On this level in terms of untouchable. Do you know what I mean? It's like
this is all they're going to know as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
it is.
They won't be obviously with experience Upton Park, obviously, but telling the memories, and as they grow older, sort of like, Dad, what memories have you got of that? And you find yourself telling stories and the like, and even maybe showing some photos, pictures, videos, whatever from the times, and especially that last night, with Man United.
Oh man, that is.
But that was blinding. But like you say, football now is it's quite severe, isn't it? It's quite important to a level
really
where there's
intense, isn't it? Yeah.
There's no opportunity or window for sort of a bit of laid back and attitude.
Yeah, it's true. It's like seeing when I was like 15, 16, working in Safeways, and Shaka was doing his weekly shop, or Samasi Abu, and
just blinding, isn't it? Just,
do you know what I mean? Or just seeing, like, I remember seeing Paul Kitson in the Woolworths with the biggest bag of pick and mix I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I love all things like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's like you don't get that. The kids won't get that anymore now because they're all living in Canary Wharf on
the
amazing
quiet places, isn't they?
Exactly, with people to do that for them, and it's really sad because there was nothing more exciting than going into a shop and half spotting a football player. It's like, oh my god, it's Pete Butler.
It was always a thing, or like trying to spot a footballer, or ones with the West Ham kits on. Me and a mate of mine, he's my best mate. He's Arsenal, and we'd always go out and say, right, West Ham against Arsenal. And, obviously being in the area that we was in all the time, it'd always be West Ham sort of like coming out on top. But, that's it is a shame, to be honest. I mean, you'll be such hard-pressed and quite lucky, wouldn't you, to go around certain places, maybe like a high-end restaurant or something, or, like Essex, sort of area, Loutons and that areas and stuff. A couple of guys we sit with are from that area and say that one guy, Richard, his name is, good mate of mine. He goes in the same barbers as Cresswell and Noble, around all that sort of area, and say have a quick chat and things like that, or pictures up and signatures and signed stuff. It's that's probably about as close as you get, wouldn't it? Now, to be honest,
it is. Although when I was cutting when I had my hair cut, I don't get it. My wife does it now with a pair of clippers now because it's all gone. Now you got to see. I tell you what, go back and see fucking Neil Ruddock. He's had a transplant and he looks fucking amazing. Honestly,
I'm definitely having a look at his one.
Yeah, Shenfield Hair Clinic. I'm going to keep plugging it every thing, and hopefully they'll sponsor it. Or they'll do.
I was going to say you're going to have a thing for it, aren't you?
A before or after, so we'll see. But it's like when I used to get my haircut. Yeah, Freddie Sears uses my barbers. It's like wow, how exciting!
That's what I mean. It is though, isn't it? It's just someone because it's your club. I
still get excited by it. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Someone from another club could walk in that you would know, and it wouldn't bother you, would it? But as soon as someone West Ham orientated and associated comes in, and it's just like
I remember I'm just picking my pen that way up. I remember, and it's just I'm going to sound like a right ponce, I know, but when I was last in Dubai, right, okay, when I was last in Dubai, and it was during close season, and I would go footballer hunting. So literally, I'd walk around the Atlantis and I'd be like,
of course.
Well, there's Scott Carson, or we did
it really wouldn't matter.
No, my daughter, we did a dolphin swimming, and Gareth Barry was behind us and stuff. And I remember my wife, she went to me, "Oh, how many footballers you spotted today?" I went, "None today." And I got up, and I went, "Oh, look, there's like a banner." I went, "Oh, that's Neymar Roberto Carlos." Went back to sleep, woke up again. My daughter is playing with Neymar's son, playing football, like football, just like little kids do. And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, here we go.
That's your way in.
It's my way in. Neymar, fancy doing Hammers 11. No, I haven't done it, but yeah. And so there's a picture of me, and I like Neymar, but Roberto Carlos, and it's like, oh no, I say about Ponce, but I've got this picture of me and Roberto Carlos. It's like, do you know what? It's my prized possessions. But
of course, 100%.
Anyway, 32 minutes in, there we go. I sound like a right cock, I know, but it's one of those things where it's just. You have to get to that extreme, nowadays, because you don't just walk down the street and see people anymore now, and it's just very, very sad. Anyway, talking about players, talking about memories, let's get on to this Hammers 11 then, Marshy. So, the idea being is, I think everyone we've interviewed has picked an 11 apart from Harry Redknapp, Ian Bishop, and Nigel Reo-Coker. There we go. So the three of them did pick, but everyone else has done. The only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play, and you can pick whoever you want. Doesn't matter what formation; it's up to you, man. But it could be anyone. It doesn't have to be the best players. It could be your favourite players, or the worst players. It can be the best French player. Whatever, man. It's all about your 11, so you can pick whoever you want.
Yeah, of course, man.
So we'll start off between the sticks. So who's between the sticks for Marshy 11?
Marshy 11, right? Okay. Between the sticks, I'm going to go Rob Green. I think.
Super Rob Green.
Rob Green, shot stopper and a very good keeper. I think in his day with us, we were quite fortunate with we seemed to cop one of the better ones from Norwich. There, I think was it from Norwich? I'm sure it's from
Norwich. Norwich.
Yeah. He was. Definitely. Like I say, that game at 2007 Emirates, beating them there. Jesus, shots he stopped in there and. Under threat, literally every attack under threat, wasn't it?
Who did I interview? It was with Jimmy Walker. So Jimmy Walker, he was saying about Rob, because he picked Rob Green for his 11, didn't pick himself. Okay, picked Rob Green. But he said he wasn't he was the best trainer ever. So that day, the game, I think we played Highbury on the Saturday, or the Emirates on Saturday. On the Friday, they were at Chadwell Heath, and Rob. There was literally had done training, and I think him and Roy Carroll had something to eat, and then they went to fuck off to Epping to get drunk or whatever. Rob Green was still there for two hours or something like that, doing one-on-ones with Ludo, and that Arsenal game. Yeah, and that Arsenal game, 1-on-1s all the time, paid off, man. Crazy man. He's a very, very unusual character by all accounts, but
yeah, very clever apparently.
Very
as well.
clever. Yeah, very clever.
I was reading, but no, it's yeah, good guy, Rob. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been all right. Goalkeepers is one area which people moan about our fullbacks and things like that. But goalkeepers is always a way a position which I think we've done all right in. You know what I mean?
We've
Even
done
from
okay,
Parksy onwards.
Yeah, obviously I didn't see Phil Parks.
No,
obviously know all about him, but
yeah,
going forward from that, we've had the shit shows, haven't we? So it's nice when you get a keeper you've got to look after.
There's always been something. So even like Ludo or Shaka or David James and Rob, Fabianski. Obviously, in between we've had a few wrong uns, so to speak. But there's always but it's always been we've always had a good thread. There hasn't been a prolonged period where we didn't have very good goalkeepers. There was actually tell a lie. There was between I think when Ludo left, we seemed to have a lot of like lone goalkeepers, if I remember. We had Bernard Lama for like
Lamar,
6 months, and
Almunia and all that sort.
Almunia, great shout.
Almunia.
I forgot Jaskalainen as well. Sorry, I always loved him.
He was there for a bit, wasn't he?
He was good shout. He was, but Rob Green, man, good shout.
Rob Green.
Good shout. Are we going to play a 4-4-2 or do something different?
Let's play a 4-4-2. Yeah, I like to keep it. Basic.
Keep it simple.
Football.
Yeah, keep it simple. Let's go left back then. Are we going to have left back then, Nick?
Left back. I think there's only one man, isn't there? I think Julian Dix is is the I say Terminator, using it loosely. You know what you got with him, didn't you?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Did.
It's probably I think his penalty against Tottenham in '97, the night game we won 4-3. I think the penalty was a winner.
Yeah,
I've never seen. I've heard of the Ray Stewarts of the world, obviously, previous again. Apparently, the way that he took a penalty, but fuck me, I've not witnessed anything quite like quite like Julian Dix.
When he's got it, when he's on it, you know what I mean? It's like those. They always talk about that Schmeichel one, and where Schmeichel's arm sort of bent back and stuff, and
breaking the net sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, mental.
And that Tottenham one just lived in my memory forever. Just being behind the goal there and seeing it just smash into the net is
it was just
the noise.
Special.
Captain as well, like leading by example. Proper West Ham, another one that deep down knows what it means, and
definitely,
quality.
And I think, and also, I mean, I've been watching a lot of the the old stuff, not the old stuff, sort of early '90s, like fucking hell, not that old, jeez.
Yeah,
but
it's not old.
No, but he got his fair few like headers, like corners, from corners. You know what I mean? He's like always, for some reason, I had Julian as like the man outside the box in my head, but he wasn't. He was the one in there, having a go. And
always a couple of the goals that you see in it. Always like the Rockets. He scored a few of them, didn't he? Sort of back in the day, but I think the highlights were definitely the penalties for me.
Yeah, and he just mustard, wasn't he? He could just like a Julian tackle or one of his shots or a 30-yard ping of a pass. Everyone just got off their feet, and he was like a left back. Do you know what I mean? It's like
I was just about to say that the tackle, and that's what I'm saying. I think West Ham is all about the effort that you put in, the passion, the commitment. The fact that a Noble obviously is one that does it now in the games that mean the most. Like the next game we got, against that lot.
Yeah,
it's you're waiting for a Noble tackle in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and you were waiting for Julian to stick his foot in and hopefully not get it wrong and just make a blinding hard tackle, and that's what like the West Ham's all about. That I sort of grew up knowing. And
you're right, man. It's that sort of like roll your sleeves up, have a go mentality, isn't it?
Exactly. Without you ain't got to be the not gonna set the world alight, but you're there to do a job, and it was.
It's not your fault if you're picked and you're not good enough to play. But if you don't put the effort in, that's your fault. Do you know
that's
what I mean?
What you're remembered for, isn't it? I mean, we're lucky to have blinding footballers. We've seen loads of them, across the time. But I think for me, the more important ones in my eyes are the ones that the committed ones, the passionate ones that really want to get into a tackle, don't shy away, don't lose a 50-50s, caught in possession. The basics of football that I always learned. Don't get caught. And that's, he was one of them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll put Dixie in. Let's go right back. Who's on the right back then?
Right back. I might go Glenn Johnson, I think.
Oh,
I might go Glenn Johnson.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember him, what was he, 17, 18 in the build-up to the transfer to Chelsea. He was clearly, he went for a phase, didn't he? Head and shoulders every game.
Did it? He just started and it was like, you thought, fuck, he's
just
too good for us, isn't it? Too good for us.
Before the kick-off, it was like he's going to have another blinder here. First 10, 15, you knew.
Yeah.
And again, like a lot of the players, we're fortunate enough to see, but then they're going to move on, and Glenn Johnson was another example of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was, and like even now, obviously, we've the recent transfer window. Say, when we've talked about players going cheap, he went for like 6 million. You know what I mean?
6 million, wasn't it? Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like
I remember that as well.
It's always happened. So it's not just like isolated to one regime or one transfer window. We never get periodic ever the right price for our players. Even Rio going, that was cheap. You know what I mean, for what it was, and considering like Leeds like flipped him almost,
80 million or whatever it was, just a steal, wasn't it? And now
80 million buys you a whole winger.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, just shows you rather than the future,
setting it alight,
rather than the future England, like international centre half and stuff. But Glenn Johnson, you're right, and he's just just one of those, and it was that whole procession, wasn't it? He's the next one. Oh, okay, how long's he going to stay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's off, matter of time, isn't it? Unfortunately, but well, you just mentioned the next one, I think, in the centre half. One of the centre halves, definitely Rio.
Yeah.
Million %. He's as I say, he's a Peckham boy, and he's from South London. So I'm in the southeast of London now, and I've worked a lot in the areas that he was grown up and brought up, and probably the same estates that I've worked on. He's probably he will well know, and again, he was probably one of the first ones that I remember in that academy graduate setup, along with the Carricks, Joe Coles, and the like, and he just seemed to set the world alight. You knew again, didn't you? Just a pleasure watching him. You didn't want to go into him for people like him when, he even watching him back now on the videos, like his memories of Upton Park, and that video that he does, the recording when before the Man United game, last game of Upton Park.
Yeah.
And he sort of sound like, when you hear bubbles, you sort of like when it's deafening loud and the music goes down and things like that. It's just living in the memory, and you think I just feel fortunate to have seen these players, albeit at the start of their careers and where they are now. I mean, look no further than Rio, European Championships, FA Cups, League Cups, league titles.
It's funny with Rio. It's like with Rio, I always see Rio as always a West Ham boy. Do you know what I mean? It's like 100%. With some of the others, with Glenn, for example, Glenn Johnson, and maybe one, the others which may come up in your discussions. I'm not going to talk to them about them, but Rio always seems like a West Ham boy. Always seems like,
without a doubt.
It's like, underneath his Man United shirt, he's got a West Ham vest on or something. It just seems
West Ham is closest to the heart, isn't it?
Yeah, and it might be because of Anton as well, because Anton still is massive, massively, infatuated still with West Ham, and
but the way that they all look to West Ham, they don't ever, not that they would anyway, but necessarily, but always positive about us, always try and find the good stuff, and that's largely always a negative. They're always, you look to them sort of players, and the ones that are going to come out and say them things are people like Rio and Anton, and again, that's all in the upbringing of being part of West Ham,
definitely
exactly what it means, and I love Rio.
Definitely. Well, then Rio's in. Who's Rio going to partner in the centres?
I think it'll be Ogbonna. I think. I'm going to go Ogbonna. I think they say he's been a bit of a, he always used to strike me as somebody who, would have a mistake in him, or would sort of lack a bit of the concentration for the duration of the time of the games on and stuff. But I mean, even leading up to the present time now, he's been head and shoulders our best centre half.
Yeah.
He's very composed, very cool. I think the solidarity that he brings, and we just want to hope, given the sort of latest transfer windows, and wanting to strengthen with another centre back and maybe give up Bonner, Balbuena, even Diop something to think about.
I mean, to be honest, I think Diop's going to have a hard time getting back in. Do you know what I mean?
He will. I think now that and fair play to Balbuena, given a chance, and the couple of cup games that he put together, and he's put in a performance. The Leicester game as well. Like they all stuck the shift in, and that's what we want to be seeing. So I think Ogbona's at the height of a very important figure in us going forward now.
Yeah, you're right, and it's like because obviously when Balbuena came in, it was him and Diop, and Ogbonna was like pushed to the third wheel, wasn't it? And then it became Ogbonna and Diop, and Balbuena had been pushed, and now Diop's been pushed. So they've all had a turn on the sidelines.
Yeah. Now we can't do a game without him now. I don't think.
No.
He definitely. Even for silly things like I see a video and someone was talking about. I think Declan Rice was interviewed, and you may have seen it, and he's turning around and saying that when the Leicester goal was disallowed on Saturday. Sunday lunch even, he's celebrating like we'd scored, and that's how much it means, and that's what we're looking for at the moment. With all the negativity surrounding the club, it's nice to show that passion and desire on the pitch, and he's definitely one of them that.
Well, it is. It's like fucking like Fornals. You know what I mean? It's like that little video of West Ham clips put together. And it is like Californication. It's like
that West Ham clips is very, very good stuff.
Yeah, he's a good man. Good man. He won't come on the channel. I've asked him. Bless him. No. Wants to remain anonymous. He's like, West Ham clips. I know you watch him. See. Marshy wants you on there. Not just Marshy, I want you on again. So we'll do it. I'll even blank your screen out so you could do it. And you can even do the I know West Ham right. You can even do it in the robotic voice as well.
Yeah, we can just see your voice
anymore. Yeah, exactly.
Alternative
Exactly. I mean I've done it for X and I've done it for Canning Town Lens, so you're on West Ham clips. Anyway. Let's go into midfield. Let's go left midfield then. Here we go.
Left midfield. I'm gonna go Pyatt, I think.
Yeah.
I know that he can play on the right as well, but when they do the sort of the changeover, sort of in his days, I think he was, borderline world class, and it was sort of without us giving him the opportunity. Suddenly signs for West Ham. He's in the French setup. That Euros and World Cup was scintillating. Some of the goals that he scored, and a very important figure in their team nationally, and more so, we'd argue, but I think the first season under Bilic, arguably the best that I've seen in recent times. I think he's carried the team a lot, and ever since when he's around and in the team, and he'd be the first one on there, wouldn't he, without a doubt? And
definitely.
The amount of free kicks and the everything else he could do, and sort of going to even that Blackburn Cup game, away, the goals, and I know it said representation in the Premier League, but I mean, fuck's sake, it's. You only get that sort of play out of certain people, and Pyatt was just you were excited just to get over there, just to see what he could do on the game that we were playing.
So true.
I think the free kick, the Palace game, was just the penultimate example of
what he could do.
How does it get in? And nobody else could probably second that. Could they copy that for love and money? So
that's the only I can only think of. Him is the only time we've bought a player who's at the moment. I don't think maybe Bowen might change my view, but we never buy players who are in their prime. Do you know what I mean? We always buy players at the bookends
that we get the best of.
Yeah. So we'll have Teddy Sheringham for couple of seasons, or even Collins was on the way back. You won't get anyone who's in their prime, or you get them when they're early. So you get a Glenn Johnson or a Rio, and then they'll book it, or Joe or Ngakia, or all these players. You get them either ends. We never get people who are going to be in their prime, and Pyatt was he wasn't pulling up trees. He was always top of the chances. Someone sent me a thing the other day. I think he's got the most chances ever in the last 10 years or something like that. It was like 900 or something chances he's set up.
All the boys still playing and he's just up there.
Absolutely mental. But he was actually, I've got it here. What was it? He had the most. He had created more goal scoring chances than any other player within the top 5 European leagues this decade. 58 more than the next person, which was Ozil. So he was top. So he was always doing that for in Marseille.
His game, weren't it?
Yeah, but as you said, he weren't in the French team, despite the fact he was playing in the French league. Came to us, and he was just on it from day one. That Southend friendly just looked quality, and from then on he didn't look back, did he, man? And
No,
he was
that's who
world
you
class.
want.
You're right. He was
Yeah,
world class.
I'd definitely say world class. I think is a term like legend. I think it's used
Yeah.
quite loosely, But I think when especially playing for us, and it was just a case that supporters from other clubs and teams that we were playing on that weekend would be saying, "Shit, they got Pyatt," and
they all wanted him. He was top of
we
all the
know,
fantasy leagues and stuff as well, wasn't it? It's like
we know his capabilities, and they've got to be careful of him, and let him know that you're there, and sort of get stuck into him. But nobody could ever sort of get near him. I don't remember sort of any rough games or any games that he was sort of went on the quiet list. Like he was always involved to some degree, and whether it was setting up a goal, just putting a cross in, or from a corner, or free set piece, whatever. And obviously, the amount of goals he scored, especially that one up at Old Trafford as well in the cup, that don't happen for most people at Old Trafford, in them circumstances. It don't, in off the post at, up at Old Trafford, up the away end. It don't, everyone looking, thinking shit, like,
it's a bit far out here.
No, but not really a surprise though, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No, it's not. It was like anywhere.
It's like his
as soon as he got a free kick, it was like a penalty, weren't it? It was like a penalty.
Well, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like wherever we played, it was like whistle go, free kick. Just outside the box, and anticipating and what's going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, it's in the back of the net, or he's laying on another goal. And just I must admit, a lot of people call him a snake and all the rest of it. But I mean, I'm one of them ones. I would have him back in the team tomorrow. I really would.
Oh God, it's like we'd never had. In my lifetime, I think he's world class. I mean, he was like, 15th on Ballon d'Or? We've never had a Ballon d'Or nominee, so he must have been world class that season. You know what I mean? And I mean, he is. He was the way he left. I mean, the way he's left every club he's been to. He gets enough. He fucks off. He throws his toys and goes back to. I mean, Marseille welcomed him back, and he fucked them off to come to us.
French sulky attitude.
It's like when Arsenal during that time where they all had like Fabregas and Firmino, and they're all perpetuate. You just kick them and they'd throw their and but then he's got this God-given talent, and it's like, well,
gets him out of the jail, doesn't it? Yeah, gets him out.
Exactly. Well, that's Pyatt. Okay.
World class.
He was. Okay, let's go on the other wing, on the right wing. Who's on the right wing?
On the right wing, got to be Sinclair.
Oh, tricky, Trev.
1,000,000%. He's
well done. We'll get a retweet.
Even with the other clubs that he's played for, Trev is or Sinks, if you like, because I've always known it.
Yeah.
He obviously probably set up the greatest goal that was ever scored at that ground in my time, anyway. There may have been others, but just everything that he could do as well. Like he was in the massive highlights and memories for me. The home games, especially, we played a certain way, distinct style, and Sinclair was at the heart of that all the time. Coming with the goals as well, like very quick, sort of pacey, low sense of gravity. Much like Lanzini sort of S now, maybe pre-injury Lanzini. But Sinclair was another one that you just knew what you were getting, and the boys always looked at him, give him the ball, and get down to the bar line, whip the cross in, and the goals that he'd come up with as well. Like it's I think there was one at Everton at home he scored, and obviously one against the Vermin at home as well. That you don't I never forget them ones. But he walks into my team.
Yeah, definitely. He was different class. Mr. Sinclair was different class, on and off the pitch. Do you know what I mean? On and off the pitch, and
he seems like a real gent. He's well spoken. And...
honestly, it's like very fortunate to talk to interviewed him, and he is a lovely bloke. Do you know what I mean? He couldn't have enough time for you. And
you know what? He's like another god to me. I mean, you're going to get to the god sort of within this team. Without giving it away. But everyone will know him as that anyway as well. But Sinclair's up there with. He's like another god to me.
And I like, in a similar way to like Antonio would play like, right wing, right back, forward. Sinclair was doing that in the 90s, you know what I mean? In the late 90s.
Yeah, he would say he'd play between the sticks if he had to for the team, wouldn't he?
He would have done. He would have done.
they definitely don't make him like him no more, do they?
No, they don't. We could have done with a couple of him, but I, in a weird way, I can see a lot of, how like Bowen does a lot of like running and cuts in, and like, and now he's obviously adding more goals to his game. That's what we need. That's what we
that's what you want
missed
for a winger,
ages.
don't you? That's what you want for. I think ever since the Everton Benayoun sort of
you're right.
That was the last time for me that I believe that we had a lot of width in the team, and we don't seem to have that now. And obviously previous to that, Sinclair as well, providing that as well in them.
Well, that's right. I mean, even before then, you had like people like Stan Lazaridis, and you had like people like Matthew Rush, and you had like Matty Holmes, and all these like proper old school wingers. And I can see a lot of Bowen in that, just like
I say we've had a few of the old ones, like the sort of Martin Rowlands, Radachoyu, Futrays and players like that. That's what I really miss as well. Like rolling off the old names is.
But that's what I love. That's what I miss. Those. I know we have the Sully specials, but they don't be as good as the Harry specials. You know what I mean? Where Harry would just go and just pick this guy.
Harry would be like, there's no bad players. You know what I mean? They're just all coming through like, Rio Ferdinand. That's a shame, isn't it? Centre off.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about Javier Margas the other day, and and he was
awful.
And he signed the same day as Neil Ruddock, so that's why we started talking about him. And he was like as mad as a bag of Spanish, as they say. He apparently, Chilean. He apparently has a British bulldog tattoo on his arm, because he went out on a night out of all Razor and that lot, like his first night out in London, and he
got him sorted with a tattoo.
He went past the tattoo parlour. He went, "Oh, it looks nice, that bulldog." They went, "Go on, Javier, get it done." So apparently he's got a bulldog tattoo on his arm, but mental. And again, that's but then all those stories, and
I was just about to say, the stories are just like, you could sit here all night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all night. One of my best mates is his dad's Colin Walsh. Used to play for Charlton.
Yeah.
And locally, there's a boozer that they sort of frequent on a Sunday for a couple of hours, and all the old Charlton boys are in there. Sort of a couple of old West Ham ones. The Mortimers, Lee Burns. Paul Walsh.
Yeah.
Them type players, sort of, and their stories, and the same. My best mate, Colin, his stories, and obviously he's a European Cup winner as well with Forest. So we get to know about that. Just old stories, within my time, is like I say, the Harry. I think I'll probably get I'll get a lot of critics for saying this, and I don't actually care, but Redknapp would be. But beside him, Bilic, that first season, Redknapp's the best manager I've seen.
Me too.
Supporting his club.
That's the most fun time of being a West Ham fan was the Redknapp era, because you had all these stories. So you had these players. It was like a soap opera. Do you know what I mean? You had like the old experience, like the Ian Wright, and you had like Stuart Pearce and Winterburn and even Razor. You had like the young protagonists, these Rios and Lampards and Joe Coles. You had these random foreigners.
From what you were saying though, about like you'd have one night where you're going to go out and get pissed up, and you sort of like professional footballers, like it didn't matter then. But
even like Margas, so even like the fact that he jumps, he goes AWOL, doesn't he? They couldn't find him. He fucks off back to Chile. He comes back with claret and blue dyed hair. But the story was that he jumped out of the Swallow Hotel, like second floor window. Why did he just walk for the reception? Do you know what I mean? It's like all these stories, like like Marco Boogers and people like that. You know what I mean?
Vaguely remember Boogers. Yeah, was it centre half? Was it? When it was
Boogers was the striker, and he got wing, like right wing, and he got sent off for the first game for Man United against Man United away. He did Gary Neville in for like 5-10 minutes, and then got sent off. But and Harry ruined him with Martin Allen. So you got like two like complete idiots, like nutters talking to each other. You had what was the other one that someone mentioned the other day? It just popped into my head and it's completely gone. That's what you're on with. But yeah, I mean, like just all those stories, Palo Futre, that was it, the Palo Futre story that Steve Jones told me. So obviously they're
I remember Steve Jones, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jonah's a cracking bloke. Honestly, he's helped me out lots with players and stuff. But Jonah tells a story because he picked him in his 11, and I was like, "Why the fuck did you pick that Futre?" He went, because we were doing for this one story. It was a great player for this one story. So they were doing the pre-season run around Hainault Forest, the one that basically Billy Bonds would always win for about 40 years because he was like, always the fittest guy. And they were all there waiting to do it. And this limousine pulls up. And the window falls down, and it's Paolo Futre, and he's got like a cigarello or a cigar or something like that, dark glasses. Like his chauffeur opens up the door, he walks out in full kit, flicks the cigarette out, runs for about 10 minutes, jumps back in the car, fucks off. And
just like
I just love it, honestly, man. It's just like there's so many of these stories. It's like
I would happily give so much of my time just to, old stories and things that went on, and I like in a time that I can understand, from when I started, sort of thing. I think I remember Mark Reaper, Tim Breaker. I built on players like that. That were just hard, and you wouldn't necessarily want to play against. And I'm sure there's loads of different stories with circulating around that as well. But listen, love the stories.
Yeah, it's all funny games. Anyway, that's Trevor Sinclair. An hour in, that's Trevor Sinclair. Yeah. Right, let's go into centre midfield. Who's your first centre midfielder?
First centre midfield, I tell you, I met him actually last season at a game afterwards at Stratford, Moncur.
Oh.
He, for me, obviously, I used to play centre midfield as well in my day, and obviously not to compare with him, but every time he actually used to be one of the ones that I used to not be able to wait to be able to watch, in the Upton Park days, and just the way he would cover ground, and just getting his foot in. I love the centre midfield position anyway, and always watched him and thought he'd come up with the odd goal here and there, and maybe be in in a setup for when we do score, when he doesn't. But the way that he win the ball and sort of flying to tackles, whether it's pissing down or raving hot, and just not worry about it, and just playing for the shirt, just being one of them.
It was entertaining. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and that's that whole era. They were entertaining. They were good footballers, but they had this sort of. They knew it was a form of entertainment. Now, do you know what I mean? It was
just
like,
all nurtured under that umbrella.
Just
all like all the redknapp sort of era, sort of thing. The way that you'd set out a stall and know which way that we were going to play. You'd know maybe the certain individuals like a Moncur, like a Julian Dix, that we said earlier on about getting your foot in and not wanting to come off worse in a 50-50 with him. And totally. I just always remember him, just like bossing the midfield and just never worried to get footing, and
him and Bish. There was a time him and Bish. It's like when we interviewed him, he said him and Bish. There was like a 2-season period where they didn't care who they were playing. If they were playing Keane or Vieira and Petit, they were going to match them.
Yeah, that's
saw that.
Good attitude, isn't it? Like to have, but Moncur was unreal for me. Loved him.
Brilliant. Honestly, such a funny bloke, and it's funny because it was when we were talking about Denny's stories, because he was like he does a bit of PA stuff and stuff, but and then you could just see this glint in his eye. Just starting when he was like, "Oh, I've got to tell you his fucking story." Like this time, and this time in Croatia, when this time, and all the stories just coming. It was like he started off slowly, and they just like, bleh, absolutely.
Yeah, I see him after. I can't remember what game it was at home, obviously, and you saying about the PA stuff he was doing and that.
Yeah,
he was actually with Steve Lomas as well. Like the two of them come out and had a couple of pictures of him talking to him. But just open blokes, do you know what I mean?
They
ones that are going to give you their time, and
never
in a real rush. Supporters that loved them, in their day, and would always want to be around. I think
that's why we connected with them as well, because they weren't. Yeah. They didn't see themselves. They knew they were fortunate to be in a position where God had given this talent, and and there was no. Now that's the thing. Now they just seem to be on this. Like you wouldn't, as I said, you wouldn't walk down the road and see Sebastian. We wouldn't say, I'll say Felipe Anderson, but he's in Porto. Yeah. But you wouldn't see Sebastian Haller
Haller, would you? Yeah,
coming out of a co-op with a baguette under his arm and a.
That's what I say. That would be like you used to maybe see that with certain people, and you get used to them people being in them places, maybe even at certain times of your days. But I think now to bump into a Haller or, you know, like I say, you'd have to be in London or high-end places, you know, to do that. And
no, you're right. You're
but
totally
yeah,
right.
Moncur was
top
a great,
lovely guy.
serious
So
shot.
funny. Right, okay, we'll put Monks in. Who's Monks going to partner in that centre?
Oh, it's got to be Rice, I think.
Oh, Mr. Rice.
Yeah, got to be
Now because he's not going to at least January now, so all right, you know. So.
No, exactly. We've got to enjoy him for a little bit longer. Actually, I actually know Rice. On a slight personal note as well. Not all the time talking, but I mean, he's just I got his shirt from Southampton away last season.
Nice.
And he actually a bit of a story, but I mean, me and Dom actually, we didn't get our Southampton tickets posted last year. Dom would always get them sent to his, and you know, we transferred the money, and we had a way to go and sort of organisation and arranging and stuff. And yeah, just a Southampton away game, the tickets never turned up, so we had to sort of go and do a bit, and you know, we couldn't pick him up from where we needed to, so we had to pick him up at the ground. So Southampton away is a pucker away day. You know, you've got the Yates in the city centre that we all sort of all the West Ham congregate.
Take over, yeah.
That's the away pub, like, you know, and for Southampton, and we had to leave there early because obviously we didn't have our match tickets. And we got down to the ground, walked across this tunnel, and then under this covered walkway bit, and you know, all the Southampton bits, you know, as you walk down and got down to the ground anyway, and went into a ticket office, got the tickets, turned around, and the bus is pulling up, the team coach is pulling up.
Yeah.
I look at the phone, and Rice has actually messaged me saying, "Mate, I've just seen you. You're a bit early, like, aren't you?" Sort of thing. And I said, "Yeah, look, we and obviously he sort of knew Dom as well, anyway. But he was sort of saying, 'Fucking hell, boys, like you're early, and you're like we can see you through the window, like you're just waiting.'" Yeah. And I sort of said to him, you know, we've had a bit of a mare with our tickets and that, but we've got them now. We're going back to the boozer. So I said to him, like, you know, has anyone sort of called your shirt yet? And that. Obviously, I thought, you know, sort of frame it for my little one and that, and for when he's older. And he said, no. He said, I'll tell you what. I said, if you get my song started, like the Declan Rice song started, then I'll give you the shirt. And then he sort of, you know, like the smiling face. He's like, no, I'm only joking, mate. He said, like, look after you.
And, I'm joking. No, I just want it for the whole of the second half instead.
And it was like, I just said, look, you know, he said, give me a shout after the game. He said, no problem. He knew that I was doing the sort of West Ham TV and whatever. I think he'd maybe seen a couple of the boys' interviews and that. Yep. I said, I'll be over straight after. Yeah, no problem. So I've done the interview, gone round. And sure enough, I think Snodgrass will come out. A couple of the other boys, maybe sort of Zabaleta and that, I think will come out. And then he come out, like, you know, and I see him sort of looking and whatever. And then, you know, we're standing by the side of these railings and that, where they shut it all off. And sort of the team coaches there sort of building up and sort of packing the stuff up and that. And over he come, like, you know, he was just a lovely, just a gent, like, you know, again, just another one that's got time for anyone and anyone that he can help, and you know, you don't want to sort of get.
He's got that old school mentality. Do you know what I mean? He's got that sort of, and again, not even old school, because we're talking about sort of the 2000s and late 90s, but that sort of, you know, he's not. A lot of footballers are pretentious, and Deck just seems to be such a down-to-earth bloke.
He come out, I got the shirt, and he went, "Oh, mate, that's all right." And he said, "I ain't got a bag for you." I said, "Mate, leave it out." I said, like, it's going in my pocket. Do you know what I mean?
That'd be 10p.
Like, you know what they do, innit? Like, they come out of all the bags of stuff and that, didn't they? Like, you know, boots or kits and, you know, training gear and whatever. And he said, "Oh, look, that's all right, innit?" And I said, "Mate, it's unbelievable. Like, you know, even for an older bloke, I know the kids obviously love it, and you know, I would obviously much prefer the, you know, all the shirts to go to the younger sort of kids and that, you know, it means a lot more to them, you know, with the best will in the world. But I think just to get Rice's shirt for them was just special occasion. Yeah. Winning the game, obviously 1-0 as well, was great stuff. We played really well, and you know, obviously I've got the shirt just in the cupboard actually.
Nice.
I still need to frame that. I actually maybe want to try and get him to sign it as well, so I can stick it in the frame.
Oh, yeah, you got once to get it signed as well, innit?
Exactly. So I'm gonna have to slide in the DMs, I think, of him and ask him the question. But yeah, no, Rice and Moncur, that's my.
Oh, that's tasty. Oh, that's a tasty midfield. Oh, that is a partnership. Yes. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I like that. And I just think, and he's just, I'm really, obviously, you know, everyone's happy that he's still here. But it's like, you know, I just think, you know, it's weird because like some players leave, and I know not talking about Dex leave, but some players leave and it's like, fucking hell, you know, you're Judas or whatever. But like, if he left, everyone would have gone, yeah, fair enough. Good luck to him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, Yeah,
he's
it's
one
like
of them ones that I think because he's not sort of forced it either. He's not sounded out that he's ever want to leave, and every game he plays, especially now with the extra bit of kit on his arm, like skipping the team, is sort of standing captain
I
for
remember
Noble.
seeing him. I remember seeing him cause obviously we do a few 23 games at the London Stadium, and obviously there's only a couple of hundred people there. But even then, this was a couple of years ago. He was head and shoulder. He just looked like he was in the wrong league.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He looked
I think he turns up at games as well, doesn't he? Still now, he watches like the younger sides. And that again just shows his inequalities.
Do you know what they all do? Do you know that and it's like I've seen, obviously say the London Stadium. Obviously, we've seen 3 managers there. Only one manager I've seen who goes to the under-23s out of Bilic,
Really?
Pellegrini, or Moyes.
Moyes, surely.
All of them. Moyes was there.
Yeah.
Irvine was there. And do you know what? And it's like. And it must be encouraging for the 23s to know that the first team manager's there. Do you know what I mean? It's like
sort of put a bit more in, didn't
you?
Yeah,
but Deck was like, just because of his leadership. Again, we talk about lack of characters and things like that. Deck's leadership, the fact he's so young, he's already played over 100 Premier League games.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And he's captain, and he's captain against, he's telling Snodgrass what to do. He's telling Fabianski and lots of more experienced players than him.
That's what I mean. It's a sort of mutual respect, and I think Rice knows. Listen, he knows the game as good as the next person does. And obviously, I think it was a close call, wasn't it? Because I think he could have always gone to Chelsea. I think in this window, and I think maybe that's the only thing that West Ham did positively. Sort of stood up and put a valuation on him that they knew would never be met as such. And,
totally. But unlike Payet, if with Deck, if Chelsea offered 30 million and we'd tell them where to go, he wouldn't go on strike. Do you know what I mean? He knows he's worth. Do you know what I mean?
I'm sure. Listen, at the end of the day, he's one of them players that is head and shoulders in our rank at the moment in our club, and he's very pivotal to the results that we're getting. His involvement there. I mean, look at the run he went on Sunday lunch. He's smacking the bar, and he don't normally do that. Do you know what I mean? It's just like he's positive.
Good that he does it now. Yeah, it's like him. He's got the confidence to do it now because he's got Souček as he's like, rather than having to carry the burden. Apologies, Mark Noble lovers, but carry the burden of Mark Noble not being Mark Noble anymore. He's always like he was playing with Souček. He's got like an equal, so to speak, in terms of they can do that together because they can
take
both
turns, can't they?
Yeah, exactly, and it's really nice
each
to
other.
see.
Complement each other well, don't they? So it's we've had some good signings, but Rice is as you say, inevitably he's going to go, and when he does, because it will be a case of when and not if now. Nobody would stand in the way,
I've still got this like niggly thing in the back of my head, and again, it's my claret tinted glasses because he's been under the tutelage of Mark Noble for so many years. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's not
another one.
Yeah. He's not stupid. He knows that Mark. I mean, he's Dex on Twitter. He knows he knows Mark gets a little bit more slack than everyone else because it's Mark Noble, and he knows he's not stupid. That Chelsea chucked him out when he was 14. And West Ham took him with open arms. And he also knows that I think he's not going to be a future centre-back at the moment. He's not good in that position at the moment, and it's like, it was almost like that cup game. They put him there to prove that he wasn't as good as centre-back as everyone thinks.
You could massively tell, couldn't you? I mean, I know that, that's the way that he was nurtured into playing football with Chelsea, maybe.
Yeah.
Initially. But listen, you can by far and large tell that centre half is not his. Even when he just sits in front of the back four, complements it well. When he gets to, and now he's getting more of a free row as such. Like you say, with Souček being there and the way that they work, and obviously clear to see the partnership and the relationship that they're sharing already.
Definitely.
He's going well. But no, I could not have him in there.
No, and you're and I'm not being funny. Chelsea can go out and buy a decent. I mean, they got Thiago Silva on a free. They could have splashed out and bought. I mean, Ake for 40 million. But you try and find that Declan Rice position in a team. It's very, very, very. There's not that many.
It's very
around.
difficult. But listen, I'll say this openly as well, and I've made it clear on my accounts and Twitter mainly. But it'll sound biased because we're West Ham. But show me a better defensive centre midfielder in this league, and I'll be waiting for you.
Do you know what? I'd even say in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Possibly the world, but certainly like at this level, and we've got some very good sides. You know, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea.
But
you know,
I mean,
the other lot.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, but the other lot, they spent how much on fucking Ndombele, and now they're starting to play him.
They're even,
you know what I mean?
But they're not getting anywhere near him. Like, like
Man City haven't bought Fernandinho replacement. They need
initially that was
the one I was worried about. Yeah,
that was the initial one, wasn't it? I think when Fernandinho's time was up, and Rice was a such like for like replacement at the time, and you're sort of thinking, "Fuck me, he's going to go to City," and
that's what I thought.
Then he really will kick on, and not that he won't at Chelsea, because it's clear that he will there as well. I think under the guidance of Lampard, I think maybe not had the greatest start this season, but it's all time, isn't it? New players and gelling. But then how long do you have, and how long's a piece of string, and all this sort of thing. But listen, we know it's inevitable. He's going to go, and probably more or less to Chelsea. And if he does, you know what? Fucking fair play.
Yeah, good luck to him.
He's never sounded out that. Sounded out he wants to leave, and that's where the credit is.
Do you know what I mean? Because he's still relatively young. I mean, you listen to his interviews. He's not media trained, so he just all splurts out, and he's
very mature though. I think very
mature, but it's not like if you listen to like I don't know, like a De Bruyne or Jordan Henderson. They're very trained. It's like the responses are very calm, collected. Deck's buzzing after a win, and he's like, "I'm just," and you just see his eyes. You know what I mean?
I think
if he wasn't happy, you'd see it.
That's the best way to get him, though. Isn't it? I think it was after we beat Chelsea, wasn't it, last season? I think the home game, and they interviewed him straight off, and he was just like, sorry for giving West Ham supporters heart attacks every other week, and we understand the way it is, and but listen, like I say, we know I feel fortunate to still have him, and the fact that we're all right. We're not watching him live at the moment, and maybe. Hate to say it, we might not get another chance to see him play live. But
good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Dependent how it goes, it's he's still a West Ham player, and he's still going to be putting that shirt on that you're gracing very well there. For a while longer.
I took advantage of the Claret 20 weekend.
Of course, as you would do. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I wasn't the greatest fan of the kits, but I think seeing that kit.
It looks better on the team, doesn't it? When the team.
Do you know what the Project Restart game? Fucking, who was it against? I can't remember now. But watching it, thinking, "Fuck me, that's a bit sharp." That actually. Oh, the Villa game, wasn't it? The last game of the season, the Villa game.
Yeah, well, they played it. It looked good, didn't it?
And I thought, bloody hell, that is that is a bit.
And it always looks nicer when it's 20% off as well. So.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not a shirter as such.
No, I'm not. But it's like for me, it's my wife. It's my stock birthday present and Father's Day present. Home, one away, and maybe a third strip for Christmas. You know what I mean? She doesn't have to fucking bother about my birthdays. It's really
even better when you're getting it for nothing. So that's
even better.
That's the godsend. I must admit, I think I am gonna venture out for that one. To be honest,
just wait. There'll be another discount soon. Is it free? Is free shirt printing at the moment?
It's free printing at the moment. I'll wait until it's 2 for 30 quid, and I might get both.
2 for 30. That's what I bought last season. I bought loads of them up because they're good to wear. It's just like as a.
Do you know the
cheaper than Primark?
Exactly. The only shirt I've got is the 2001 away one. The navy feeler.
Yes.
Dr. Martens.
Yes. It's funny. I was talking to someone the other day. I don't necessarily remember seasons, but I remember strips. So that feeler one, Dr. Martens, reminds me of Hannu Tirhainen.
Yeah.
I can just picture him in that shirt.
There's only one game you relate to, isn't there, in 2001 as well? Up at Old Trafford, isn't it?
Exactly. It was him in that strip.
The Barthez waving, and he was playing, wasn't he? Centre half.
He was Hannu Tirhainen. I remember him very well in that shirt, but it's funny.
And there are other names, no one speaks to. Listen, we're probably wasting your time here, but we could be here all day, mate.
Yeah, that's fine. We've had over like 220 odd names, 215 different players.
Like that there, Hannu Tirhainen. No one.
No,
you ain't thinking of him.
No, it's like we the other day I was doing. I can't remember what we were doing. We were talking about someone, and then we ended up talking about Papa Bouba Diop and Abdoulaye Faye. The wardrobe and Abdoulaye Faye. Like the Allardyce years and.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When we got more time, up front. Right up front. Who are we going? Who are we going to go? Well,
we're going to start with God.
Yeah, God is one of them. Yeah, obviously, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Always Paolo.
Again,
in his era, much like Payet, tell me something the bloke couldn't do. It's even not even speaking about the Wimbledon goal, it's just People don't do that. Do you know what I mean? You can't get away with doing that, like that sort of thing. He should never have been allowed to score that. You know, Sinclair should. You know, the pass more so than the goal from Sinks. Like, you know, it's not.
It was the first, it was the Foe tackle, and even the Foe tackle was amazing. But everyone clips it from the Sinclair bit. But actually, the Foe tackle was just, and he just said Sinclair knowing that Paolo's over there,
just playing it out wide, isn't it? And then, like you say, the gut instinct is that you know, before he's even got it under control, he knows where it's going, and the rest is fucking total history. Like, you know, it's just.
But I think we've more than, because I've always had this. So yeah, Pyatt was probably technically the best player I've ever seen at West Ham, but
Easily,
I think Di Canio was the best player, because I think because you were talking about people who put it in and play with passion. He had that, and very rare you get someone who plays, who has that passion and has this incredible technical ability, and he had both, and so that's why I think he's so revered by people, because he had the passion,
the skill and the. It's just the Italian aspects, like, you know, just the, just that way of. I'll never forget as well. As I say, Pyatt was formidable, but my favourite ever player is God. Like, you know, so
me too.
You can't even say Di Canio. To me, it's just God. Like, you know, he's just. And I always remember, you know, that last night at Upton Park when they stuck the light on him, and the first thing he does was touching the heart, you know, where the crest was. And I'm thinking that's what we want. Yeah, that's proper, like, you know. Yeah. That's tears in the eyes sort of thing for me. And fortunate enough, as I say, I go every week, and in them years, I just, you know, like he'd turn it on at fucking Highfield Road at Coventry, and the fucking Filbert Street, and he'd do it at the old, you know, like I say, the old Coventry ground. I think we won 3-1 there, and he got 2. And just flicking it over people's heads into the far corners. One of, you know, the famous one at home, Martin Keown up over his head.
His shorts on backwards.
Into the far corner. Just fucking, you know, even rowing for a penalty with Lampard for Sheffield Wednesday. Or Bradford or whatever.
Bradford,
just like.
He was like, you know, in the same way that Pyatt, like, when you watch Pyatt, you think, what's he going to do? What type of free kicks are he going to score? With Paolo, it wasn't necessarily about the football. It was, how was he going to entertain us? What was he going to do? Was he going to have one of those games where he was, you know, world class? Was he going to have one of those games where he was just throwing his arms up, having a tantrum?
I was going to say, even when he's moaning up, it's just fucking.
It's just so funny. I mean, I watched that Bradford game again, and there was the part where he sort of sat on the touchline, and then it was almost like a superhero movie, and like, you know, we sort of, he was feeling re-energized because he, like, the song, and it's like, it was like coming through, and he's literally, like, you could see him rise up, like, you know, fully charged, ready to go, and it was just, he was just brilliant, wasn't he? You just got to smile when you talk about it.
Literally, I'll say I'm speechless 1 minute to, you know, hour and 21, but fuck me, with him, it's just West Ham, just West Ham, and you say his name, and it's just like Noble nowadays, like, you know, it's just, you talk about him, it's Mr. West Ham, and at that time, Paolo was by far and large.
Yeah. And we've spoken about tattoos already with Javier Marquez, but obviously he's got a West Ham tattoo as well. And I just, someone who's really phobic,
just nice touches, like, you know.
No, he is, yeah. And the fact he's got that, and, you know, the fact that when he was doing proper lockdown, he was doing his kick-ups and singing Bubbles in his 1950s. But, like, you know, and it was like, wasn't like one of his match-worn shirts. It was a 1950s shirt.
Yeah.
Someone's got that for him.
No one could get away with it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody else could get away with that. And there's nothing that nothing he couldn't do even now, and, you know, that would appease the supporters, and just forever loved, like, you know, just Paolo.
Exactly.
But who's going to partner Paolo?
Who's going to partner Paolo there, Marshy? Come on.
That's the question, isn't it?
That's the question.
I don't really want to go for the what?
David Di Michele.
No.
No.
Not Mido. No, is he going to get a shout? Mido, no.
Guillermo Franco. Louis Jimenez. What about Louis Jimenez? What about Diamante? I'm throwing him out today.
Diamante was special. Another Italian, wasn't it? Diamante. He's similar ilk. Savio, a bit rubbish and a bit cack. I'm thinking more the lines of maybe
Wellington Paulista.
Wellington Paulista, yeah. I actually don't think I ever see him play. Maybe once or twice or something. But I'm thinking more along the lines, I think you mentioned him earlier, Paul Kitson, or maybe like Di Canio Canute, but that's the years, isn't it? Like, you know.
Well, just I mean, you got I mean, it's like the thing is we've had like we've had like a load of cack, but we've had some. Obviously we had Johnny Hartson, we had Paul Kitson, we had
just
like
like
you said.
Canute.
I mean,
Canute, I loved him, and who am I going to go for here? Then I don't want to go for a sort of a current player, if you like.
No.
I keep thinking, obviously, Zaza. I keep thinking along the lines of the Redknapp era. I'm just thinking, I can't not. Paolo One Chop in there.
Do you know what? He was brilliant, Paolo One Chop. I loved him.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go Paul Kitson.
Paul Kitson, yes, Paul Kitson, and his big bowl of Haribo. Yeah, good old Paul Kitson.
Yeah, some of it, as I say, obviously my highlight of him was Charlton away.
Oh yeah,
the Kitson hat trick. And then obviously
he wasn't given enough. I think some of Kitson, like him and Johnny came in, and they obviously kept us up that season. And Hartson got all the plaudits because then next season, But I think Kitson was like so not underappreciated, wrong word, but
unnoticed, isn't it?
Unnoticed, yeah, good word, yeah. And I just think
you're totally right. He's the one, but then them ones are the ones, like the ones that go about. I always like the players that. Sort of go about their business quietly.
Yeah.
And, get a job done on the sly and coming in with goals. Like I say, Kitson fucking could score 2s and 3s every other week and still wouldn't get a shout, but he just still went about his business. And, for me, he was one of the first highlights for me, going and I miss Tony Cotty. I've actually met him a couple of times. Cotty is a nice guy. But Kitson's really the one that I had him on the back of one of my first shirts, actually.
Wow. That's good enough reason as anything.
Marshy, exactly. Yeah. I just, I love them sort of players, and again, not necessarily the best players, and we haven't had, what you would argue is quality, real quality players, but the ones that we have had, like Kitson, like the One Chop, like players like that, and even in the midfield, I would have gone for Carrick without Rice and Moncur, just players like that, it's just. Too many to choose from, but Kitson is
nice.
He was special,
Yeah, he was good, and he was just like, you're right. Just went on his job, scored goals, wasn't in the papers.
Done what he's there to do.
Done what he's there to do. Didn't kick a teammate in the head, and just good old Burks. But and that's the thing. I just think he was I just think he needs, with someone like Paul, obviously, his goals, him and Johnny kept us up that season. And it's nice. Yeah, Paul Kitson, well done.
There's so many players that you could just, do you know what I mean? Joe Cole
you could put 20 teams on. I mean, it's like the other day with Razor, he put 11 side, and then he gave me a bench, and his bench was 12, and his bench would have basically been would have got into the West Ham first team now. Do you know what I mean? With like Freddie Canute and Monks and.
Do you know what? That's the sort of bench that mine would be. I think be Canute, Joe Cole, Michael Carrick, maybe Mark Reaper, Breaker. I love them players. I remember that we beat Man United at home one year. Reaper got the header 1-0, and it's just great.
It's great, isn't it? Because it's great. I mean, the whole thing's great because it gives you it's great because I've played up with the idea. No, it's great because it just gives you an opportunity just to look back and remember.
As I say, I appreciate you asking me, and I'm glad now that we've been able to do that. Because talking of the old, the old days is just.
Do you know what everyone says that after the interview? They go, "Do you know what? I didn't think it was going to be like that. It was really fun because you just go down these sort of memory lanes, don't you?"
That's what I mean. You just fall off anywhere and just any sort of position you get to. Remember him, and obviously I have a lot of these chats with Dom, and obviously a bit of an age difference there, and he's more used to sort of the later on and 2000s, and sort of the Bobby Zamora eras and 2004, 5.
Yeah.
Leading on to the FA Cup final and that. But to be able to tell people like him, and then I hear from my dad, and like the McAvenis, Cotties, and
yes,
I remember Trevor Morley, but not greatly. Cotty probably was more.
Yeah. Well, it's Cotty the second time, isn't it? Because and again, Cotty, like the second time, I just see that pony top with the blue tick. That to me is Tony Cotty. So yeah, no, it's
madness. People's memories and
it's just
stories.
weird. It's weird, and that's the thing. Everyone has a story. You know, just everyone you talk to has a story. And as you said, like you said, thing like with Deck or someone might have a pat.
It'd be nice to get people together, like like a little group of people, and just sort of openly chat about.
Yeah,
you'd have to have a day allowance, wouldn't you? You'd have to have
well,
a
you'd
day
have to.
day
Well,
pass to do that.
it's almost like you've come. You know, you've preempted my the next series we're putting out soon, which will be a little bit like that. So that's hopefully coming up. We can do like a mini series soon. So taking a few of the greats, so to speak, the Hammers greats, and having a bit of an open discussion about them on their own, you know, rather than, you know, like we've done. So that's there, but that's a little bit of an exclusive, but hopefully we'll have that up soon. But yeah, it'd be quite good. Marshy, man, we've been chatting for an hour and a half. I think that's enough.
Yeah, it's bedtime now, isn't it?
It's bedtime.
Yeah,
it's bedtime.
sorry to waffle on.
Do you know what? It's great. I think you probably are. I want to say you're probably the longest video. I'm just looking through, but you know that's an accolade in itself. Do you know what I mean? You know,
I'm pleased for that. I hope I've not wasted too much of your time. And
don't be ridiculous. It's been lovely.
I know
it's been
you're
lovely
busy,
chatting
man.
to you. Oh no, it's my pleasure for you taking the time. I really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Good stuff, man. I look forward to it.
Yeah, and obviously thank you to everyone for watching for the hour and a half the Marshy marathon, the Marsh-athon. We've had
That's
the
a
London
new hashtag for me. I think.
Hashtag get it.
I'm going to catch you on that after that.
The Marsh-athon, get it hashtagged. And we just had the virtual one, haven't we? It's the London Marathon. This was the My Hammers Leather Marsh-athon. So anyway, thank you to everyone for watching or listening on the podcast or on YouTube, where it is. Give it a like, give it a share. And until next time, from me and Nick, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone.